Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
Alright, this year at 2023 Essence Festival of Culture in New Orleans, Disney will be celebrating the power of joy. They're one of the big sponsors, I guess, in Essence Festival of Culture this year. It runs from June 29th till July 3rd. I've actually never heard of this festival before.
That makes two of us.
But Disney is going to be showcasing content and talent through one-of-a-kind panels, special performances, meet and greets with characters, exclusive screenings, as well as giveaways. The reason this pertains to us is Hulu is the official streaming destination for Essence Prime Fest. Hulu subscribers have an opportunity to join celebrations, catch exclusive virtual-only content, and highlights from the daytime experiences. It's going to be streaming on Hulu from Friday, June 30th through Sunday, July 2nd, 7 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. Central Time. What's interesting is they didn't say what day this was going to be streaming. There's going to be special panels on Saturday and Sunday that also include special looks at new Disney Plus series, which they've highlighted Star Wars Ahsoka.
So is it going to be an actual...
It's some sort of panel. It's going to have a special look at Ahsoka. We don't know what that means.
Yeah, is that like an actual...
But that's literally days away now.
New stuff, or are they going to recycle what we've seen before?
No, because this is supposed to be a whole thing of exclusives and stuff for people being there and going on the Hulu. I think it's a special look at the series.
So what is this festival's...
purpose?
Larger intent, yeah.
This festival is actually huge. It celebrates African American culture in America. There's lots of music and food and cool stuff, and it's in New Orleans, the city of party. At least that's what I think of it as, because every time I think of New Orleans, I think of Mardi Gras. Big party, lots of culture, entertainment, great music. Home to the Culture Fest, or Essence Fest of Culture. So,
Any other shows being shown off there?
Well, there's going to be stuff about the Haunted Mansion show. I mean, Rosario Dawson will be there kicking off the festival. Disney's new musical Wish is going to also get a special look, too. But the most interesting thing, of course, is for Star Wars fans, is that we're supposed to get a special look at Ahsoka. That means we have to resubscribe to Hulu just so you can watch it.
It'll probably be online moments after.
It's not supposed to. It's supposed to only be live streaming on Hulu. That's what they said. Hulu subscribers have an opportunity to celebrate and catch exclusive virtual-only content and highlights from the daytime experiences.
Interesting.
Which could mean that it's going to get online. It could be leaked online by people who are there with the old random head
cell phone
footage.
Head in the way. Yeah.
But they could be showcasing it on their Fest Prime Time. That, again, is Friday, June 30th through Sunday, July 2nd, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central Time on those days. 3 nights of watching for Ahsoka, I suppose.
Probably not getting much out of it either.
We don't know.
I can't imagine there'd be too big of a...
I have no idea. I mean, Ahsoka is creeping up.
Sure, but you'd think you'd want to make sure it was a larger... It's not like, it's
Celebration
but they're doing it
on Hulu, and Hulu is huge.
Yeah, but people still have to watch it. Just because you have something on there doesn't mean people are going to gravitate towards it. I don't know, maybe it'll be a thing. That's also
true. We'll move on to something else then. Harrison Ford has now expressed his gratitude towards Star Wars and George Lucas ahead of the release of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. He did an interview with Inquirer.net where he credits George Lucas for changing his life.
Him? Yeah. Not that he wouldn't have found his own way without George Lucas, but when you consider Han Solo and Indiana Jones, yeah, that makes a career right there.
Well, it's funny because over the years, fans, we've kind of saw that Harrison Ford may have expressed maybe a little dislike or lack of enthusiasm, especially for Han Solo. Remember, he wanted Han to be dead. And I just didn't get the impression that he enjoyed Star Wars after the fact.
No, he's a very grumpy person too. It's hard to read him.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of the interviews you'll see, he just seems like he's just unhappy with everything. So I don't know if that's just his general disposition.
I know he's up for an Emmy nomination for the show Shrinking. He plays a psychologist with another psychologist, and they're analyzing each other or something. We haven't seen it. I think it's on Apple. He was asked whether or not he thought Star Wars and Indiana Jones were going to be as big as they are now. In response, he kind of pointed out the ridiculous nature of Star Wars, when it was first being developed, but he felt that there was like a fairy tale nature that gave it merit, but he was never prepared for the overwhelming cultural impact of Star Wars. Who could be, right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody...
Nobody thought it was going to blow up like that.
No, there may have been people who thought it could be successful, but here we are 45 years later, still watching it, still talking about it, and one of the biggest impacts in the history of cinema.
What he specifically said about it was, in a word, no. Did I think they might be successful films? Yes. Or I would have run away. It might have seemed odd to the British crew when we were making the first Star Wars. They might have said, what's going on here? Like, there's a 7-foot-tall man in a dog suit. There's also a beautiful princess, a wise old warrior, and a callow youth. Then there's the smartass. I know, the part I play, and it's fun. I thought, this is a fairy tale. This kind of story has always been successful, whether it's written or filmed fairy tale. At that point in my career, it didn't matter to me that the film would become hugely successful and end up changing movie history. That's true, you don't think of it at the time.
No, I like I said, like we just talked about, I'm sure nobody was thinking while they were filming this, yep,
no,
this is it right here. This is going to be the biggest thing.
Here it is.
Arguably in the history of film. This is going to have a cultural impact that ripples throughout the decades, and we'll have other movies and books and be this franchise that millions upon millions love.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure nobody thought that.
Harrison Ford then commented kind of on the impact that Star Wars and George Lucas and Indiana Jones had on his life. He said, I was grateful because Star Wars changed my life. I had the opportunities that extended beyond director George Lucas and my success in making that film. It gave me freedom and opportunities that I had never imagined I might have. It's the same thing with Indiana Jones, except that it's not a fairy tale. It's a different kind of construction. But it is recognizable as the kind of film that is broadly enjoyed by moviegoers from all walks of life. It's so much fun to watch these films because they're beautifully written. They're so artfully contrived and populated with such fantastic actors. Just look at the actors I've had the opportunity to work with. So it's been nothing but joy for me.
Yeah, I can't imagine he would have any regrets or anything about his
he got to work with Sean
career.
Connery.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love Sean Connery.
Yeah. No, that's my favorite Indiana Jones movie too, so.
It's mine too. But yes, he's worked with so many talented actors.
Well, he's a part of legacies that are quote-unquote never going to die. I'm not saying a million years from now people are going to remember that Star Wars, nothing like that, but certainly not going to be forgotten in a long, long time, if kind of ever. He's part of 2 franchises that have just left an indelible mark on.
I just get sad when the franchises he are in, the one that he made his name from, I just worry about the legacy that gets left behind because of the fact that Han Solo didn't shine in the last movie he was in for Star Wars.
Yeah, I think that's why people get so upset. Is it's not a matter of like they can't handle the story or they can't handle heroes falling from grace necessarily, but it's his legacy too. It's the legacy of Han and Harrison Ford
the character
intertwined.
He brought to life.
Yeah, and people don't want to think that Han ended up a kind of a deadbeat dad who divorced Leia and was killed by his own son. And that's not the legacy you want that character to leave behind.
Well, same with Indiana Jones. When we last saw him in Crystal Skull, it didn't feel like a high note in his life.
No, but it didn't feel... I get what they were going for with the ending of that, to kind of... Because they want to keep the franchise going, which I think...
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, which, I mean, in hindsight is a mistake, right? Because
right off the bat.
Yeah, not just because, he wasn't a great character in the movie necessarily, but because Shia LaBeouf hasn't exactly... become what some may have thought he was would be 15 years ago when he's doing Transformers and Indiana Jones. But I've said it before, I'll say it again, like Indiana Jones is Harrison Ford and Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. It's not a franchise.
No, it's not a let's pass this to the next person. He is Indiana Jones. This is his character. This is the story of this character's life. I don't want to see Dial of Destiny and end off with like her grabbing the hat and like, now I'm going on adventures. I'm the new No,
it doesn't work
that way.
It's
not
with
the same.
Character.
This was his story. And that's how I always loved it.
I think that's how everybody loves it, except for Lucasfilm, who wants it to continue to go on and to continue to profit off of it, or Disney.
Well, I think it's because they've tried other methods. Like, they tried that National Treasure movies.
Oh, yeah.
They tried those. Like, I think they try other things to kind of continue this adventure-type legacy of tracing history. Because it was very similar in feel in some ways to Indiana Jones. But they just aren't the same.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why people don't want to see, say, a female Indiana Jones is because we have Tomb Raider. That's kind of the same. character. You're kind of copying something else that has worked extremely well on its own just to keep this franchise going, which is just Harrison Ford. The same way, I've played Tomb Raider games. I think it's a fine franchise. I haven't been a huge fan of the movies, but I don't want to see like a male character come in and play Lara Croft or to take her role. It just doesn't make any sense because Lara Croft is Tomb Raider.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's just a franchise that, again, I don't even want to call it franchise. It's just this character who's been in some really good movies, and it's time for that to come to an end now. Sometimes things have to come to an end, like this video.
Yeah.
Is coming to
I
an
mean,
end.
we'll see the movie on Friday, and hopefully it has a satisfying conclusion to the Indiana Jones story.
I hope so. But for now, that's all I got for this time. So now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you think of any and all of today's news, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.